Hi, this is Phyllis, and welcome back to my channel. Today's project is going to be this netted collar necklace. It's made with only a few things, size 8/0 seed beads, some 4mm crystals, and optionally some 15/0 or 11/0 seed beads, and a clasp. So if you like what you see, stick around for my materials list and we will get started. The materials for today's project are some 15/0 seed beads. These are the Toho brand, and this color is the jet or black. I'm using 8/0 seed beads, and these are my Yuki. They are the Duracoat galvanized gold color. I'm using some Swarovski 4mm Bicone crystals. These are the Jet AB color. I'll be using a lobster claw with a swivel bottom. It's 11x5 in the gold plated color. I'm using an 8mm jump ring, twisted in the gold plated color, using 2 wire guardians in the gold color, 1 size 10 beading needle, my 6-pound fire line in the smoke color, and my scissors and my bead board. We can't forget the bead board. And if you like what you saw in the intro, gather your materials. You don't necessarily need the 15/0 seed beads, but I'm going to use them to make a tiny embellishment on my 8/0s. So I'm going to take out all of my beads, and I'm going to string my needle with about 3 yards of my fire line. So get your materials together and we will get started making this project. We're going to begin the project with just our 8/0s and 15/0s at this time. And again, you don't have to use 15/0s. It is your preference. So I'm going to start by stringing on 2 of my 8/0s. And I'm going to leave myself a 10-inch tail because I'm going to add the clasp after I'm done with all of this weaving and stringing. So I'm going to pass my needle back into this seed bead here. And when I pull my thread, the beads set up for you like this. And I'm going to, you know what, if I don't move them, it's gonna be blurry. Okay, it's a little less blurry. All right, your beads set up like this. And I'm gonna do I'm gonna reinforce this set of beads, and we're gonna continue. I'm gonna do herringbone, and I'm gonna do 20 steps of herringbone. And I'm going to do that by stringing on 2 of my 8/0s, pass my needle back into this seed bead here on the right, pull my thread, and I'm going to go back up into this left side. I'm going to continue on by stringing on 2 of my 8/0 seed beads and pass my needle into this top seed bead here, pull my thread. I'm going to string on a 15/0 and pass my needle into the 2 seed beads on the left. Straighten up my threads here, and I've got that little tiny embellishment. I need to pull, I have to tighten down on my thread to give that a definition. I don't want the little 15 O's to get lost in between the rows. Again, to continue, I'm going to string on 2 of my 8/0 seed beads, pass my needle into this top seed bead here, pull my thread, string on a 15/0 seed bead. Also, you can use an 11/0 as well if you don't want your embellishment to be this tiny. Pass my needle into these 2 seed beads here. If I passed my needle into just one of the seed beads, if I only went into this one here, you would end up with the twisted herringbone, and sometimes those are cute, but that's not what we're doing for today's project. But you can do it. I have strung on 2 seed beads, and I'm going to pass my needle here into this top seed bead, pull my thread, string on a 15/0, pass my needle into these 2 seed beads here. And you're going to do this until you have 20 rows of herringbone, with or without the tiny embellishment. String on 2 8/0s, pass my needle into the top, string on a 15/0, and pass my needle into these 2 on the left. So I'll see you when I'm done with my 20 rows. I've got my 20 rows done now. The only thing is we are missing our little 15/0 embellishment right here. So in order to complete that, just pass your needle into the top 8/0 seed bead, string on a 15/0, and pass your needle back up into the top seed bead where you started. Now, this is what we have, and what I'm going to do is now string on our succession of beads that will make our necklace here. So I'm going to start off by stringing on, get these 15s out of the way, and now we're going to need our 8/0s and our crystals. I'm going to start out by stringing on 8 of my 8/0s. And a crystal, and 8 more. And a crystal, 8 more. And a crystal. You're going to do this until you have an odd number of crystals on your line. I'm going to do 13 crystals, and when I finished with adding all of my crystals, my 13 crystals, I'm going to end with 8 of my seed beads. And once I finish doing that stringing, I'll get back on and we will continue. I have completed stringing on my seed beads and my 13 crystals, and I've ended off with my 8 seed beads on this side. We're going to continue now by stringing on 2 more 8/0 seed beads. And we're going to pull these down. And once I get here, I'm going to hold my work so that there are no gaps in my thread. I'm going to pass my needle into this 8/0 seed bead going in the direction away from me. And when I pull my thread, we're going to have our herringbone set up. Ladder stitch set up, herringbone set up. Same thing for now. But if it was going to be a ladder stitch, I would just keep going this way. Right now it's herringbone. So we're going to continue that. And also make sure you check your work here to make sure that you still don't have any looseness in your threads. You don't want your work to be choked, like I said, but you do want there to be no gaps in the work. To continue now, I'm going to string on 2 of my 8/0 seed beads, pass my needle into this top seed bead, and pass my needle now into these 2 seed beads on this side. Pull my thread. Now we're going to continue doing it the same way, but this time with our embellishment. String on 2 8/0 seed beads, pass my needle into the top seed bead here. Ooh, sorry about that. Pull my thread, string on a 15/0 seed bead, and pass my needle into these 2 top seed beads on the left. Continue on by stringing on 2 8/0 seed beads, pass my needle into the top seed bead on the right, pull my thread down, string on a 15/0, pass my needle into these 2 seed beads on the left. And you're going to continue this, making sure that you have no gaps there. You're going to continue doing this until you get your 20 rows of herringbone on this side. And when you get your 20 rows on this side, well, when I get my 20 rows on this side, I'm going to turn the camera back on and we will continue with this project. All right, just continue this way. I've got my 20 rows of herringbone done on this side, but just like on the other end, we are missing our little 15/0 embellishment here. So I'm just going to pass my needle into that top seed bead on the right, and I'm going to string on a 15/0, pass my needle back up into the seed bead on the left. And this is what you should have. Again, I've got 13 crystals. You could have 11, you could have 17, depending on what size your neck. But this is a collar necklace, so that's the reason why we have it looks this small. We're going to continue now by adding 1/2 of our clasp, and the person that is going to receive this necklace is right-handed. So we're going to put the jump ring portion of the clasping on this side because it clearly has a front and a back. You obviously could wear it this way, but I made the embellishment so that we would have a front and a back of the necklace. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to string on one of my 8/0 seed beads and my wire guardian by passing my needle up into one hole of the Guardian and around the groove of the Guardian and into the second hole of the Guardian. Let's pull that down and string on my jump ring so that it rests in the groove. It rests in the horseshoe portion of our wire Guardian, and I'm going to squeeze it. And when I squeeze it, I don't think it's going to come out of there. And I'm going to pass my needle. See, I said it, I didn't think that it was going to come out of there, and the thread is trying to abscond from the wire Guardian. We will not have that. All right, I'm going to pass my needle into the top, that single seed bead that I just added. And I'm going to pull down all the way down so that our work is resting on our herringbone. And then I'm going to go into this top seed bead here of the herringbone, pull my thread. I'm going to reinforce this connection. I'm just going to turn it over to the back so that I don't have to mess with my little 15-0s. I'm just going to pass my needle into these seed beads, into this top 8-0 seed bead. And this is herringbone, so it might be a little difficult to get into your beads, but that is okay. Go one at a time. Now I'm going to go into this top single seed bead and the first hole of my Guardian, and I'm going to go through the jump ring and around the groove. Well, let's just get through the jump ring first, right? Around the groove of the wire Guardian here, and back into that top seed bead, and if you can, into this seed bead here. And I'm going to hold on to make sure that my thread rests in the groove of that wire Guardian, and we have success. Okay, from here now we're going to pass our needle down through the remaining seed beads on this side of our herringbone. Get through as many as you can without losing your needle in there. And pull, pull, pull. And continue until you get down here to the end. And now we are in position to add our beads. We're gonna add our beads just like this. We're gonna add on a crystal, 5 seed beads, and a crystal, just like this. And we're going to pass our needle into 1 8-0 seed bead, 1 crystal, and 1 8-0. So that's what that's what we have. That's where we're passing our needle. We're going to pull our thread. And this is what you should have. We're going to do that all the way down. String on a crystal, 5 seed beads, and a crystal, and pass our needle into a seed bead, a crystal, and seed bead. Pull our thread. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to continue all the way down. String on a crystal, 5 seed beads, and a crystal. Pass your needle into a seed bead, the crystal, and a seed bead. And pull your thread. And that's what you're going to do all the way down. And when you get down here at the other end with your crystal, I'll meet you there. I have strung all of my crystals and beads for this layer except for the last one. But I have taken the liberty to place my crystal and 5 seed beads and crystal on my needle, and I'm going to pass my needle into this as about 3 of these seed beads here on this side, and I'm going to turn it over to the back. Just maneuver these beads the way you need to so that you can get your needle in there, and just pull your thread. And of course, have the thread wrapped around the tripod, of course. Okay, here we go. All right, now this is the front, and this is the back, and I really want to be working in the back right now so that I can position my needle, position my needle where we need to continue. So right here on the back, my working thread is exiting this seed bead right here. I'm going to just move the thread over and pass my needle into this seed bead that's sitting right next to it, and pull my thread through. And then I'm going to pop back over to this side, put my thread here so that I know where I'm going, and we're going to pass my needle into these 2 seed beads and the crystal and 3 more seed beads if I can get them. And when I do this, I want to pull my thread towards the front of the work so that I can see where I am and know where I'm going. This should be the position now of your working thread, coming out of this center seed bead here of your first drape. With my thread exiting this center seed bead here, I'm going to string on 5 seed beads, a crystal, and 5 seed beads. And I'm going to get caught on my bead board this time. I'm going to pass my needle into the next drape unit, into the center bead of the next draped unit, just like that. That's how we're going to continue all the way down. We're going to string on 5 seed beads, a crystal, and 5 more seed beads. and pass our needle into the center bead of the next draped unit. And that's what you're going to do. Simple. That's what you're going to do all the way down to the other end. And I will meet you there. I'm at the other side of my necklace with only one unit to go. So I've strung on my seed beads, crystalline seed beads, and I'm going to go into the center seed bead here. However, I'm going to continue to advance my needle into as many of these seed beads on this side as I can get my needle through without losing the needle. I'm going to try to come out the back side of this herringbone strip, and I have done that. Now once I'm here, I'm going to pass my needle into the seed bead next to the one where I'm exiting, and I'm going to pass my needle all the way back down as far as I can here, because there's only one pass of thread in these in my top row, and I don't want to leave it like that. I want to get at least 2 passes of thread here, because the necklace is basically done, except that I need to put my clasp on this side, and I'm not going to record this because it's the same thing as on this side. You just have to put a needle on your tail on this 10-inch thread, or however much thread you left there, and attach the clasp just like you did on this side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my thread, my working thread, through the top, through this top line here of beads, as far as, I mean, all the way across. I have enough thread to do it, and I'm going to tie knots someplace, but wherever I tie them, they will be nice and hidden, because you can tie the knots, make half-hitch knots. As a matter of fact, let's do one. All right, I'm going to pass my needle through these seed beads here on the top until I get to the crystal. Once I get to the crystal, pull my thread, and I'm going to make my knot by passing my needle under the thread between that seed bead, that last seed bead where I'm exiting, and the crystal, and I'm going to pull up a loop. After I pull up my loop, you see it here, this is where I want my knot to be. I'm going to pass my needle into this loop twice, and I'm going to pull my thread, making sure that that knot stays right there between that seed bead and that crystal. And that's what I'm going to do all the way down. Pass my needle into the crystal and the 8 seed beads, and exit that last, or the 8th seed bead here, and do the same thing. Just make a knot. Do that all the way down, do it all the way down the line, and use up as much of your thread as you possibly can. Pass your needle up under that seed bead and the crystal. That's where you want your knot. Pull up a loop, pass your needle into that loop twice, and pull down on your thread. There, you see that knot settle right in there, just like that. Advance your needle into the crystal and the next 8 seed beads, and exit that 8th seed bead, and just do that all the way down the line. And so not only will you have 2 passes of thread in your top row, you'll also have all of those knots. So, and that will be such a secure chain there on top. You won't have to worry about it breaking. So whenever you're done, passing your thread and tying your knots and placing your other side of your clasp on, I will meet you back here so that you could see what it's going to look like. It's going to look cute. It's just going to look just like this, except for it's going to be finished. See you then. All of my bead work is complete. I have reinforced my top chain, added on my other side of my clasping, tied all of my knots, and trimmed them off, and the necklace is complete. It's pretty cute, if I must say so myself. With that being said, thanks for hanging out with me. See you next time.